And joining ENN's Trista Panagakos in the studio are the two candidates running for SGA Executive President, Jocelyn Gomez and Michael Swartz.
Thanks, Charlotte, and thank you both for joining us. Firstly, current SGA Executive President Anya Braddock has used Anya's top 5 to keep the student body aware of events and offices around campus. If elected, how would you keep a line of communication between SGA and the student body open?
So I think a top 5 is perfect, especially via video. That's the best outward-facing communication to get students actually engaged. That's why one of my majors is cinema, television, arts. So I would plan on actually keeping that going and try to keep those things, bringing them in person to classrooms and talking past video to try to get the momentum going around what's available on campus.
I would love to continue on its top 5, but add a little twist on it and kind of doing different aspects of student life that students would normally focus on. So going to different groups and asking them intentional questions of like, what's one thing you wish someone knew more about your org? What's one thing we could prove around campus? What makes you feel seen at Elon? Just things like that.
Yeah. And if elected, how do you plan to work across campus with different offices and organizations to make your term successful?
I think just being present in all the spaces, like we both have kind of talked about this during Executive Candidates Forum, but just being already in the spaces with students, at the organizations, at meetings, in offices, asking to meet with people and just being present.
Yeah, I learned so much from being around different groups and giving my ideas and learning from others. And I think what's made my Elon experience so special is the fact that all my involvements are very different from one another. And I think a lot of students align with that same mindset and experience. So the thing that brings us together is we're all part of the same Elon community. So really sticking to that core foundation and improving life for every student, no matter the organization.
Part of your responsibility as executive president is to fill positions on different committees, and if there are open Senate seats after the election, fill those seats as well. How would you help new senators or committee members adjust to their role to be successful?
I think the environment within the office is the most important thing, making people excited and happy to come into every single Senate meeting on Thursdays. And then most importantly, it doesn't matter really what happens in those meetings if we don't take it out of the office and bring it to the students and the organizations around campus. Make sure the organizations know what's available to them and make everything that's offered like widely aware and known.
Yeah, additionally just being more present with all the spaces that are on campus when it comes to appointments specifically, like actually conducting interviews where they get to be in the Senate, actually meet people in the Senate and know parliamentary procedure, because it is kind of intimidating to come into our Senate and not knowing that you can't get up during voting, things like that. So kind of just having a clear line of communication through everything.
Mm-hmm. And how might your previous experiences on SGA already help you in this position?
So I've had 2 different roles. I was a Love School of Business Senator, so I got to meet with academic deans, which is really cool, and also plan the majors fair. So I think it helped with kind of like the logistics of everything. And then currently serving on finance board as a class of 2027 treasurer. That's been extremely helpful, just because it kind of gave me a background into the finance bylaws, which is a kind of a huge thing with SGA, just because of student activity fees. So I think it just gave me a very good perspective of the org's perspective of SGA and how we can better increase that transparency.
Yeah, serving as class president for my first 2 years at Elon allowed me to be in rooms that were really crazy, especially as a freshman arriving on campus, talking to Connie Book and people like John Dooley, and being able to express things that my friends had talked to me sort of in passing to people that can actually make things happen. So that's the main part of this role, is not solving every problem that's brought to you, but really bringing those problems to the people that can create the right solutions to help everybody have a better time throughout the year. So using that experience, and as Jocelyn said, I'm now a School of Communication Senator as well. So looking at the schools that people are a part of and how can we improve that to make everyone's year better next year.
And I know SGA passed a suggestion box recently in the fall. How would you use those suggestions, or how would you use the suggestion box to help in your term make legislation?
Really just, it's going to sound simple, but reading what students want. I think that the suggestion box has been successful in the past when students are inclined to actually go and give suggestions and go to the events that we're putting on. So thinking deeply about not only what they're saying, but why they're saying it and how to address that why in the first place.
Yeah, additionally, and also we have all these different subcommittees inside of SGA, and so they work specifically with the suggestions that we've got. Recently got Executive Candidates Forum. We had a bunch of suggestions that have already been divvied out to how to address things like that and who to go talk to. So we've already had questions for John Dooley, things like that, which is pretty
yeah. Thank you guys both for your time. I really appreciate it. And now back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Trista. You can cast your ballot for the SGA election on Phoenix Connect. Voting closes tomorrow at 7 p.m. and results will be announced at 7:30 p.m. on Medallion Plaza.